We're here with Heavy DonWayne, the rap artist.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what made you want to be a rapper?
I really, well, to tell you that, I gotta tell you how, I started rapping.
Go ahead.
I was 11 years old, and I had just started middle school. I had just transferred from my old middle school to my new middle school for the second half of 6th grade. And I had been there about 3 weeks, and the only friends I had really made was in the music class, the band class I was in. So we all going to lunch one day. We going to lunch, and then there was freestyle rapping, and when you was a kid, you used to bang on the table and do some kind of beat like that. You know what I'm saying? And so they was freestyle rapping, and I just jumped in and did it. And they was like, "Oh, that's raw, that's raw, that's raw." And I was just playing around. I didn't do it on purpose or nothing. It's just I can't describe the feeling of wanting to spit a raw freestyle, because it's like a pressure build up in your chest, and you just you either gonna run with it or you're gonna get scared. So I ran with it, and so I did this little raw freestyle. I can't even remember what I said. And they was like, "Bro, you raw for real, you raw for real." They was like, "I should introduce you to my nigga Jamie." And I guess Jamie was one of their friends from elementary school or earlier in the year, and he let everybody know he could rap, he could rap, he could rap. So Jamie came. It's the same lunch. Jamie came in the lunch, and they was like, "Jamie, you gotta hear this nigga rap, bro. You gotta hear this nigga rap." So they started doing the beat again, and Jamie was like, "All right, that's dope, that's dope, that's dope." And he "Let me spit something for you." And so Jamie started rapping. He was like, "No, I need something faster." So they switch up the beat, give him a faster little beat, banging on the table with a pencil or whatever, and he spit straight fire. He spit better. I thought at the time he spit better than anybody I had ever heard. He was raw. I was like, "Dang, that's raw." And he made me wanna be a better rapper before I knew I wanted to be a rapper. You feel what I'm saying? So, time going on with everybody getting closer. It was me, Jamie, one of my friends from band, Chris, Deontay, and his twin brother, and we was that crew that was in band. And and my homie Jared, and we was all kids from kind of the same neighborhood, but we was all cool in band. So them wasn't my, because I was in other stuff. Them wasn't my other stuff friends. Those were my friends I was in band. So it's like I want to say April, and Chris said, I think I got this good song." And in that time, since I had got there, I found out that Chris could rap, and we found out that this other boy Roger could rap. And it was Roderick's first 2 weeks there, because I was going to the YMCA at the school, and Roderick was a new kid I met him first in the YMCA before and after school. So we was freestyling. He was like, "Oh, y'all be rapping?" He like, "I be rapping too, for real." He because he came from some other middle school from the north side of town. Yeah, because we went to school on the south side of town.
And what town was this?
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. I spent the first 13 years of my life in St. Petersburg, Florida. I was born in Atlanta, but that's complicated. Just know, from what I can really recollect. It's St. Petersburg, Florida. Before I moved to Cleveland, but yeah, I was 11 in Bay Point Middle School in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
Where I met all these dudes and I found my love for rapping. But what really made me want to do it for real was when I got in my first group. And this is right around the time that I met Roderick. And so it's like Chris, it had came out, like I said, it had came out that Chris had started rapping. Because he was cool with the group, so but he could rap and sing though, and he could write hooks real good. Me and Jamie did verses, and so but we would always be freestyling together,
right,
after lunch, or between class whenever we could, and we called ourselves Outrageous Boys ENT, and we spelt it funny, and everybody would be like, "Why y'all spell that word wrong?" We were like, "That's just how we spell it. That's just how we spell it." And it was me, Chris, and Jamie at first. But then we weren't really officially a clique. That just was every time you saw us rapping, we was rapping together. But we hadn't came up with the name yet.
Okay.
Then Roderick came, and so I introduced Roderick to Chris. And Chris was like, "Alright, spit something for me." And Roderick was he ain't really know Chris like that, so he was like, so this freestyle he spit was like ass, like trash, like it was boo boo. I was like, he was messing up and stuttering. I was like, bro, hold on. Like I felt like, dang, I'm vouching for you, my man. I'm like, this my nigga. Like, we be rapping, and you said you really want to be rapping, so I'm trying to plug you in with the right people, and you do that. It was horrible. It was horrible.
So when you got started, who would you say influenced you to? That was already out in the industry? Who would you say?
Well, in the neighborhood I was living in, a lot of the dudes was into, it was 3 dudes everybody was listening to, and it was Lil Boosie, Lil Wayne, and Gucci Mane. Now, I first really got into rap music when my cousin he used to play that old Young Jeezy, that Air Forces. I went from old school Chevys to drop top. Yeah, he was playing that in his room, and I could hear it through the door. And I be bobbing my head. I be like, "You ain't seen what I seen. I can fit 100,000 these shine." Like, and so my first favorite rapper for real was Jeezy.
Okay.
And then I started getting into Wayne, and I started getting into Gucci and Lil Boosie, Webby. My influence is really Southern. It's very Southern heavy.
So that's what you'd say your rap style is like?
Yeah, like it's real Southern heavy. But don't get me wrong, the more I got into it, you know, you got to of course look at the past, the greats. You know what I'm saying? NWA. You got to look at Tupac. You got to look at Big. You got to look at Craig Mack. You got to look at KRS-One. You got to look at all them kind of dudes.
Okay.
And how they put their own spin on it. You feel what I'm saying? So, and a major influence on making sure I got to say what I got to say is T.I. for real. I respect T.I. a lot. Like,
okay.
Like, so I can't, like, you know, and then there's a lot of dudes I like nowadays, like, that I take influence from, like Kodak, and Rick Ross for sure. Rick Ross for sure. Like, I'm trying to think longevity, not just right now. I'm trying to think and plan for the future while trying to get the career started.
Okay.
So, I definitely want my money to make money for me, and I definitely want to make major moves.
Right.
But for the most part, my influence on my music is Southern.
Okay. So right now, you're almost 22 years old, so you've been doing this half your life. As far as the music industry is concerned, what do you like about it and what do you dislike about it?
some of the well, you got to take the music industry as a whole. You can't just because there are positives and there are negatives. Um, I mean, a negative is that it is so in fact time consuming. It's extremely time consuming. Like you don't really have no free time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no minutes to rest. And you being a human, you have to rest.
Right.
But it's just a whole different mind state. Like it's not just the music. You don't just record music
Mm-hmm.
and be famous. No, you have to constantly push your work. You have to promote your work to different audiences. You gotta do this interview. That's why you can't do it by yourself. And so I'm glad I'm in the early stages. So I'm trying to really build my team. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get a team together that can do the stuff that I can't do by myself
Mm-hmm.
and make the workload a little easier so I can just be the rapper and focus on the music.
Right.
And their jobs is to focus on the other aspects. And I'm not running around trying to be in 15 places at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But positives, the work does eventually pay off.
Right. Right. Exactly.
The better the music does, the more people you reach. I mean, everybody loves money, but
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get to that point where I can do a show and everybody know the words.
Right.
Or I just did an amazing tour and everything just built on top of each other after the first show. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would love to get to that point in my career. I think that's the ultimate great thing about the music industry is because people are buying into you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like your music is a part of that. So then it helps people buy into you. You are something people want to invest in.
Mm-hmm. So who would you love to work with that's out there, artist or producer that you can think of?
I'd love to work with Timbaland
Mm-hmm.
on something like, cause I don't just make one kind of music. I love to make some very out the way music with Timbaland.
Mm-hmm.
But artists just to work with, there's a lot of them. I love to work with Jeezy, of course, Rick Ross. If I could, Moneybagg Yo.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I get higher up in my career, I would love to work with Drake. I
Okay.
love to work, but on the producer side, like I love to work with 808 Mafia. I love to work with Pharrell. I love to work with Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
I love to work with him. I love to work with DJ Khaled for sure.
Since you've been in the game over half your life, what advice would you give an aspiring artist that's just starting?
Just hit the ground running for real. Don't. If you want to do this, do it. Do it full out. Don't wait till you like 18 to do it. No, if you want to do it, if you know this is what you want to do when you 16, just hit the ground running. Just invest in yourself. Don't wait till don't wait till you have to be your sole financial provider. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know when you're a kid you get all that Christmas money, so if you want to do it when you're like, if you want to do it and you know you want to do it, coach yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you out, you got to network too. Don't be afraid to network.
Right.
Like, cause I guarantee you, there's other rappers in your school or where you work, or they're everywhere. So don't be afraid to network and you want to make sure you have a well-established internet presence, social media presence, as well as a physical presence. Like, people see you out in the city. Like, always go to a showcase. Get cool with some of the kids at your local school of the arts. They always got stuff going on.
Right.
But for people that don't have that, just have somewhere that you can go to record yourself.
Right.
Yes, you have to. Unless you do it yourself, you have to pay for studio time.
Right.
And that's where the investing in yourself comes. You got to invest in that.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because I know you're also in school to become a sound engineer.
Yeah.
So what are your plans outside of the music? Do you plan to go into film? Do you plan to go into any other ventures? You going to use music as a platform to get you other places, or music your primary focus?
At the moment, I want to make music the primary focus, but in the long run, I do want to get into film. I do want to get my hands on like a movie script. You know what I'm saying? I do want to get into acting. I'm actually doing a movie with the guy. I can't remember his name right now, but if you look him up on YouTube, the movie is called Hood Chicks, and it's another movie called, I'll put it up right now on my phone. Hold on. The movie's called Gorilla. Yeah, it's called Hood Chicks, and you type in Hood Chicks movie on YouTube, and it'll go, and then the page will pop up. The Gorilla King. That's the company that's producing this movie. But the movie I'm in is The Come Up, and it's about a pimp going to jail. He got caught. I'm not gonna get away with the movie, but he got caught up, went to jail, got out. He wanted to change his life around.
Okay.
So he dealing with the trials and tribulations of that, trying to turn his life around after he got caught up.
Okay. Now, as far as your music, where can we go to hear some of your music?
I'm in all major stores online. iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Google Play Music. If you just look my name up, links will pop up. Heavy DonWayne.
Okay.
Links will pop up. Actually, there'll be a link in the description of this video. So when we upload it to social media, I'll put the link in the info below.
All right. Now, out of all the songs you've done, what's your favorite one? If you had to just pick one. I know for me, Real is my favorite.
Yeah, when I first, that was on my first project, but that was my favorite song for a minute. But then I love what I can do on the feature side. But my favorite song that's just me at this moment would have to be my favorite song with Just Me would be Hustling Through Time. And it's a song I just did. That's gonna be on an upcoming project. But a song that I'm really proud of that's on the feature side is a song I got called Abracadabra. And it's featuring two Cleveland artists, Marley J and J Gotti Maserati. Some of my homies that come through the studio, and we was in there one night. I was like, "Hey, y'all trying to get on this song with me?" And they was like, "Yeah, for sure." So we got in there and made it happen.
Okay. Well, Darryl, thanks for your time, and
oh yeah,
wish you the best of luck.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Forever my lady, the money is ruthless, so keep your head high. shot, so I stayed in the booth. I earned my stripes, made it do what it do. I did that life, I live that life. So keep your head high.